Right, I'm going to do some deep frying today. So I have used this oil. This is rapeseed oil. I've used it a couple of times. Can reuse it a few times. I've just done some chips in it, that's all. But I've got some of these wee fish. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make the I'll put the oil on first, then I'll make the batter. I'm actually just going to check these fish because I bought them yesterday. Make sure that they kind of smell all right. I think they're alright. I will give them a wee rinse off though. They are, what are they? Sprats or something, yeah, Sprats. Put them in the sink and give them a wee rinse. I think I'm going to eat all of them. I'm going to have the lot. I shall leave that there and we'll use that. Them in the sink for now. So I'm going to make up a batter. I'm just going to use self-raising flour and that as well, and a wee bit of rice flour. The rice flour is pretty good. Just a bit of water in that. The rice flour helps with the crunch, makes it a wee bit crispier, a bit lighter. Touch it, salt in. Fast that, but you don't want to mix it too much, just kind of minimal. A few wee lumps in it is okay. So a few touch more. You could use sparkling water, that's pretty good, or beer as well, like a Corona, like a light lagery type beer. And we'll pop that in the fridge. It benefits from being cold, so you can do that a wee bit ahead of time. Using the fucking hot tap, I'll just give them a wee rinse off. Now you can just, I don't have any kitchen paper. You can just stick these straight in to the, just cook them as they are, and they're perfectly good. They've still got the guts in them, and they've obviously got the head and the tail. I find the tails to be quite they're quite sharp, those wee bits to eat. If you get your teeth into them, they're a bit sharp, so I am going to cut the heads off and the tails, and I'm going to clean the guts out as well, so it just makes it a wee bit more nicer to eat. But this is not really necessary. These are designed to be, not designed, these are, it's okay to kind of eat these as they are whole. But it takes a second, and it's makes them a wee bit more palatable. I'll still eat the spine bone, sort of crunch through that, that's okay. kind of almost just like cleaning a prawn out, you know, that you take that. You can see there's all that kind of gunk, all that black stuff, you know, it's not very nice, you know, so. Taking out some of the bigger kind of chest bones, if you like, as well. It can be quite a wee bit big. There's a lot of gunk. And that oil. I'll put the thermometer into it. So we can see, get rid of that. I really should take my rubbish bin out before I do these videos, but then I would have an empty bag, and then all I would have in it is that fish, which in no time at all would be stinking. So that's why I tend not to empty my rubbish bag. Let's put that onto the tray. So just dust them in flour basically. Put some flour on it, it helps the batter to stick and it dries them off. I don't have any kitchen paper, I would ideally dry them in a bit of paper, but I haven't got any. I'm not going to have these with anything, I'm just going to have them on their own. Should really make some rice or have some noodles or something, but I'm not that hungry. So this is just going to be like almost like a snack, you know, just going to crunch through them. So yeah, the oil's pretty good, I'll show you that in a second. So the oil is, I don't know if you can see that. So look, see what my angle's like. There's that big load of rust at the back there. I can stick my face in the oil. Deep fry my face. So we're getting there, we're almost at 180, deep fry is at 190. So basically once I do this and then pop them in the batter, we should be there. That's too much flour, but okay. I really need to get this flour into one of these jars. So put a wee touch of salt into the batter. I'm not going to put any onto this. Yeah, I could do, you could do, but I quite like to put quite a lot of salt on at the end. That's the way I prefer to do it. You could probably just deep fry these like this with just the flour on it, and that's it, and that would still be pretty good. See, too much flour. So we're right up now to 190. So so I know as soon as I put this in, the oil temperature is going to come down, so I'm just going to leave that at full temperature, leave it at number 6. And obviously you know the rules, if you don't leave it unattended at any time, so should be alright. Yeah, the colder the batter, the better. So if you use like beer, have the beer chilled right down in the fridge. I've actually got cold water in the fridge. I should have used that instead of tap water, it would have been better. I'm just going to chuck them all in, but it might overload it a wee bit. And that's why if you overload it, they stick together and it brings the temperature down a bit too much. So, see those videos on the internet of people who deep fry and they put their fingers right into it. I can't do that. See, I usually leave stuff out on the side there. When I run out, you know, in empty packets of stuff. And I did have a sheet of kitchen paper there to remind me to go and buy some more, but then I used it. So I've got nothing there to remind me. Stood on him, didn't even hear you coming in. Looks like it's raining outside. Just want to kind of turn them over, put some colour onto them. Yeah, I should really have used, it would have been better if I had used this. I've got this bottle of water. Just for drinking. I should have used that. Fridge temperature. Because the colder the batter, the better. Colours up nicely and it goes crispy. But this should be fine. The flour in this can be my carbohydrate. I don't really need noodles or rice or anything. Fluff. When I worked in the Chinese restaurant, I got shouted at a lot and told when I'm deep frying to do that, you know, to push the thing through the oil without tipping it over, and that was supposed to be good apparently. Now I would ideally put this onto some kitchen paper, but I haven't got any, so I'll just have to go straight onto the plate. See what temperature our oil is at the moment, see how far down it's come. There's nothing really you can do about it, so you just have to keep it up full and just leave it in, you know, you're not in any hurry. These can kind of take a good bit of cooking. Cook for a few minutes. But you know, you want to keep the temperature right up. I haven't turned it down. And what you can hear at the moment, that kind of popping sound, that's moisture inside the fish that's kind of coming out, and it's popping, it's making that noise as it comes up through the oil. So kind of once that stops, then you know that it's kind of dried out on the inside and it'll be nice and crispy. So the temperature, I don't know if you can see, it's hard to see, but it's 160, so 165, which is alright, that's pretty good. Hasn't come down too much, but it's perfectly safe, you know, at that temperature it's perfectly safe, you know. So I don't have anything really to have this with. Olives, I'm just going to have to eat them on their own. I don't have any dipping sauce or anything. You can see some nice colour there, it's darkening up nicely, it's good. Temperature's gone up to 170 now, so it's creeping back up. It'll work its way back up, but just slowly and safely, so it's fine. We're almost there now. You can see there's some good colour getting onto these, but you really will need to keep that temperature right up. Don't be too scared. Don't turn it down at all. If the temperature gets too low, they will become soggy. They'll really absorb the oil, and when you take them out, they'll be soggy and saturated with the oil. So you've got to be confident and keep that temperature right up. As soon as you start putting them in at the beginning, it'll pull the temperature right down. So you kind of rely on that as your safety valve kind of thing too. So that although the temperature was rising quite quickly there, and it got right up to 180, 190 even, don't panic. Just get the stuff in. They're almost done. I bought this today. This came in the post. See if anybody recognises this. Go follow this guy, he's very good. I bought that today. I'm going to wear that. So the temperature's come back up to, it's 180 now, so I reckon we can turn that off. It's a different, you're not getting so much popping now. I don't think it's quite so much, because the moisture's kind of come out of it. So turn it off and take this out, and that's us done. I'll slide it off the heat. Just be careful obviously when you do that. And what I like to do as well is this is the good thing about the wok, because you've got this big surface area, is I quite like to do that, kind of move it through the air. I think the air passing through it helps to dry it and give it a shake. And what you can see there, you look how dry they are. They're really, really dry. Just a couple of wee spots of oil, but really, really crispy. Because I've kept the temperature up nice and high, been confident with it, kind of almost don't even need kitchen paper. Sure. Crispy bits are good. I'll just lay that on there. And then what I will do with this oil, because you can use this again, what I tend to do is I will make some chips, and then I'll do something like this, make some fish. So once you start doing fish in it, it starts to get a bit smelly. So probably what I would do now is, for the last thing in it, I've done like say 3 portions of chips in this oil. So now I've got 1 portion of fish. So what I would do now is make pakora, which I think I've done before. I think I've done a video on that. But what that does is it's like a curry batter, and then that finishes the oil off. because at the moment it's got a wee bit of fishiness to it, but once you put the curry through it, it smells a lot, and that's it done. So you know, you get a few uses out of it, and it's, you can see it's nice and clear, it's clean. And we take this, take these bits out of it straight away. It's easier to take these bits out now while the oil's hot. It's nice and thin. If you let that cool, it's much more difficult when the oil is thicker. Spin that. But that's you there. I'm just going to stick some salt in this, but you can see not much oil. There's a few wee specks of oil, but not much at all on the plate. Nice and dry, nice and crispy. And all I'm going to do is just put a good pinch of salt in that. I kind of like putting a wee bit less salt through the batter, but then plenty of salt. Now I almost like feeling the crunch of the salt. I'm just going to have this with a wee glass of vodka, I think. And on behalf of Collier. So that's you there. So yeah, not the most nicely presented thing, but you know, really nice and crispy. You can hear that. Rock hard, nice and crispy and crunchy. Rice flour, self-raising flour. And yeah, I do quite like to take the heads off and take the tails and the guts out. It just makes it a wee bit nicer to eat. But that's your deep fried battered sprats done. Really good, crispy right until the end. And I couldn't find any tartar sauce, that would have been ideal, but had it with a wee bit of mayonnaise. Really good.